Welcome to our webinar. My name is Marco and I'm a product marketing manager at Cyber Upgrade. And it's my pleasure to introduce my dear colleague Noyus, our co-founder, general
Hello.
counsel, and DORA expert. Welcome, Noyus.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Marco.
Noyus, you bring a great blend of expertise here. You bring a lot of legal expertise, but also a hands-on experience, working not only with our internal CISOs, but with companies across Europe and beyond that we help implement DORA. So I'm really looking forward to our discussion today.
Likewise.
So let's kick it off. Our topic for this webinar is third-party risk management as one of the key requirements for DORA. But before diving into that, let's start with some like DORA basics or DORA 101. So Noyus, could you tell us what DORA is and why it was introduced?
Yes, so DORA, or Digital Operational Resilience Act, is a regulation adopted by European Union to enhance the resilience of financial institutions and their information and communication technology systems against cyber threats and operational disruptions. It was officially published in the EU's official journal in January 2023, and actually it's now fully applicable from January 17, 2025. And basically, DORA was designed in response to increasing cyber risks and the operational dependencies within the financial sector. Financial institutions, as any other companies, rely heavily on ICT systems these days, and cyber attacks or disruptions can have a catastrophic effect on European economy. So the EU introduced DORA to ensure that financial institutions are resilient to ICT risks, have mechanisms to recover from incidents, and basically to ensure that uniform standard for information security in financial sector is enforced across uniformly across the EU. So basically, these are the reasons why DORA was created and came into force.
Okay, so to summarize, like to have a safer financial ecosystem throughout Europe, correct?
Exactly.
And beyond. So Noyus, you gave us a little bit of basic info about DORA, but tell us, please, one more thing. What are the key pillars of DORA?
Yes, so like every regulation, legal act, DORA has the main principles, and for fact, it's called 5 pillars of DORA. So these are ICT risk management, ICT-related incident management, classification and reporting, digital operational resilience testing, information sharing between financial institutions, and management of ICT third-party risks.
We're going to cover, of course, the management of ICT third-party risks, but one more general, let's say, question about DORA. Who does DORA apply to? If you can let us know, please.
So yeah, the scope of DORA extends far beyond banks. According to Article 2 of the regulation, it applies to financial institutions, investment firms, insurance companies, and payment processors. ICT providers, including cloud services and cybersecurity contractors, are also directly affected. Notably, even non-EU companies working with EU-based financial institutions must comply. For example, a US-based cloud provider storing sensitive EU financial data falls under DORA's jurisdiction.
Okay, so even though if it is a European regulation, it will affect companies, we can say even globally, correct? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Let's then now go into the, let's say, the main topic of this discussion, and that's ICT third-party risk management. That's, as you mentioned, one of the key DORA pillars. Now, can you let us know why is that risk, let's say, so important?
As we all know, these days we rely heavily on third parties. I don't know if you are, even if you are a small business owner or you have a startup, you don't build your own project management software, your own cloud infrastructure. So also the financial sector, it depends heavily on third-party services, from cloud infrastructure to payment processing, you name it. But also, as reliance on third parties grows, so does the exposure to risk. Supply chain attacks have skyrocketed, with hackers increasingly targeting vendors to infiltrate larger organizations. And basically recognizing these threats, DORA mandates that financial institutions treat vendor risk management as a critical component of operational resilience. This includes understanding the potential impact of vendors' disruptions, evaluating their resilience capabilities, and actively mitigating risks through the vendor relationship.
Mm-hmm. And what are some key risks that we can associate with third-party providers?
I could divide those risks in four categories. So first one would be cybersecurity risks, second, operational risks, third, compliance risks, and fourth, concentration risks. So example for cybersecurity risk would be data breach, ransomware attack. Example for operational risk would be downtime or service outage. Compliance risk would be vendor non-compliance with some specific regulation. And the concentration risk would be over-reliance on just a single vendor.
You also mentioned, like in theory, what are some risks associated with third-party providers, and that's something we all kind of understand. But as always, when we see some real examples, then we really understand what is the potential risks here. So can you let us know what are some like real-world cyber incidents that kind of highlighted this risk of third-party providers?
Of course, the best way to learn something is to look into real case studies. So I could say that one of the most notorious third-party cyber incidents was the SolarWinds supply chain attack in 2020. Basically, hackers compromised SolarWinds Orion software, which was used by thousands of organizations, including banks, government agencies, and major corporations. Attackers inserted malicious code into an update, which led to unauthorized access to sensitive data across multiple industries. And this incident perfectly highlights how a single vendor security lapse can expose an entire ecosystem to cyber threats. Also, another example could be Capita. And in 2023, Capita, a major outsourcing firm serving financial institutions and government entities, suffered a massive cyber attack. The breach resulted in the exposure of pension data for millions of UK citizens and disrupted essential services for financial firms relying on Capita's infrastructure.
Yeah, we always kind of say that perhaps the market is over-regulated or something like that, but when you look at these examples, it's good to have certain regulations in place that kind of have safeguards.
Completely agree with you, Marco. Some sectors are just vital for the functioning of our society, and there may be a lot of regulations, but these regulations have a good intention and want to protect our society. So completely agree with you.
Okay. Let's now talk a bit about the key pillars of third-party risk management. There's a lot of key pillars throughout this webinar, but now we're going to go deeper into third-party risk management. We have a third-party risk management strategy, due diligence and risk assessment, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
We have contractual requirements, monitoring and oversight, managing critical third-party providers, and of course, training. That's always important. But let's look at the one of the requirements, and that says that financial entities must adapt the strategy for managing ICT third-party risks as part of their ICT risk management framework. So can you tell us a bit more on this strategy? What does it entail?
Of course. So basically, ICT third-party risk strategy is a structured cybersecurity and resilience framework that organizations implement to manage risks associated with vendors, including technology vendors, including cloud providers, SaaS applications, and managed security service providers. It basically focuses on identifying vulnerabilities in the supply chain, ensuring compliance with security standards, for example, ISO 27001, enforcing contractual security obligations, and continuously monitoring third-party risks through assessments, penetration testing, and incident response coordination. And yes, the objective is basically to mitigate systemic threats, prevent data breaches, and enhance operational resilience against disruptions caused by external service providers.
So we discussed ICT third-party risk strategy as one of the key pillars of third-party risk management. Another pillar is due diligence and risk assessment. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, so the first step in DORA vendor management is performing detailed due diligence. This involves assessing a vendor cybersecurity posture, operational resilience, and compliance with industry standards before signing any contracts. But an important note is that you cannot just only rely on some certifications. The due diligence must be more in detail, and yeah, you should ask for some evidences.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so perhaps we can compare, we have KYC, like know your customer. Would this be KYW, know your vendor, something like that?
It's an interesting concept, and we can say that, yeah.
Okay. But let's look at what is important in vendor due diligence. Throughout this webinar, we will try to give some concrete examples to our viewers. So let's start with this, like what's important in vendor due diligence, like some sort of a checklist, let's say.
I could say that it should cover, broadly speaking, areas of data protection, incident response plans, and just compliance with other EU regulations, for example, GDPR. And this checklist should be emphasizing DORA's requirement for operational resilience. So it should include also business continuity and disaster recovery plans, and more detailed questions on some specific security measures that vendor may be using.
Okay, as we can see here now on the screen, we also gave some examples of some key questions to ask vendors, like what are your disaster recovery protocols, how quickly can you restore services, and something like, are you compliant with the EU data protection laws, and so on. So all very, very valid and very important questions. Okay, no, so let's say we did a due diligence of our vendor. And when we did that, we decided for a vendor, and now it's time for a contract. And based on third-party risk management under DORA, there are some contractual requirements, specifics to contracts with third parties. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Of course. DORA mandates to have some contractual safeguards when you engage with vendor. And basically, broadly speaking, agreements with vendors should clearly define roles, responsibilities, reporting obligations, and penalties for non-compliance. Also, it should include exit strategy, the right for exit plan enforcement, and of course, it's a key part of your engagement with third parties. So always, before signing any contract with critical provider, ICT provider, collaborate with your legal team or your external counsel to update contracts with DORA compliant provisions, ensuring that vendors are held accountable for operational disruptions or compliance failures.
Mm-hmm. And as we can see also here on the screen, some key contractual provisions for DORA compliance. They can be like incident reporting, SLAs, audit rights, and those kind of matters that are very, very crucial to include in the contracts. And let's talk a bit about ongoing managing critical third-party providers. Perhaps not just critical, managing all providers, right? So under DORA, how should organizations approach this management of third-party providers to ensure that they remain compliant and secure?
Basically, all cybersecurity operations are a process, not a project. So also under DORA, assessing vendors at the onboarding stage isn't enough. You must continuously monitor their performance, security posture, and risk exposure. And This ensures that any emerging vulnerabilities are identified and addressed promptly. It's a good practice to establish a centralized dashboard to follow third parties' performance and risk indicators. And this data can help you to address potential issues and update your risk mitigation strategies and identify existing risks, or see how some risk that was identified got lowered. And it's just a good practice to just see your just a general risk score of your third parties.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully seeing it reduce in time.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some also on the screen, some actionable monitoring metrics, some examples like security posture, service reliability, and regulatory alignment, or very important in vendor relationship. There are two more pillars of third-party risk management I'd like to discuss with you, Noyus, and that's first one is oversight. So there is something special within vendors. There are those critical vendors, but can you tell us a bit more? Who they are? Why are they critical vendors? And why is there something special for them within DORA, and what that is?
Of course. So DORA introduces special oversight for critical third-party providers. I will call them CTPPS. It's an interesting term, but okay, I will go with it. And these are vendors that regulators deem to essential to the financial sector, such as cloud providers and key ICT vendors. While EU authorities will oversee these providers directly, financial institutions must still manage the associated risks. And you should start by identifying those vendors in your vendor network. Evaluate how a disruption in their services could cascade into your operations. For instance, if such specific vendor provides core banking infrastructure and experience downtime, how will you ensure business continuity? I would also recommend to maintain an inventory of all CTPPS and conduct a regular stress testing to assess the potential impact of their failures. Include detailed mitigation strategies in your operational resilience plan to satisfy regulatory expectations, and of course to ensure your business continuity. It's the most vital thing to ensure.
So this is something like a plan B for any financial provider, let's say, when it comes to vendor. Okay, there is one more pillar I'd like to mention here, and that's training of vendors. Why is it important, and how should companies do it?
Yeah, basically, you have to ensure that your third parties have underwent some training that focuses not only on acceptable use part, that you cannot open that kind of content in your computers and yada yada yada, but basically it needs to be more focused on DORA and also operational resilience. So these components are vital to when ensuring that your third parties are trained properly to address DORA requirements.
So, Noyus, we discussed some key pillars of third-party risk management, and we mentioned ICT, third-party risk strategy, due diligence, risk assessment, contractual requirements, monitoring and oversight, and managing critical third-party providers, and training. And now when a company implements all of that, let's say the fun part starts, the audits start. So as we know, audits are starting as of 31st of March. So there is still some time for companies to prepare. But let's dive a bit deeper into audits. And can you let us know how audits work under DORA? How will it look like?
Of course. Audits are a critical part of ensuring compliance with DORA. And basically, they provide regulators with a clear picture of your organization's ability to identify, monitor, and mitigate risks associated with third-party vendors. Depending on the circumstances, these audits may be scheduled in advance or conducted without prior notice. And understanding the structure of an audit helps you to anticipate what regulators will examine and how to prepare your team.
Okay, so as we can see on a screen, we see some key phases of DORA audit process. I'm sure it will be very interesting for our viewers, where we go from pre-audit to document submission, on-site or remote evaluation, and to the gap analysis and recommendation, which kind of summarizes all of the steps before. One important part in phase of every regulatory framework is documentation. So what can companies do to make their documentation life easier under DORA?
Yes, so I suggest to have these documents always readily available, and not only to help you pass an audit, but also it will signal your organization's commitment to transparency and accountability. However, maintaining extensive records can be challenging without using right tools. So just irregular documents managed manually, it's a hassle to do that. So this is where leveraging third-party risk management platforms like VendorGuard can simplify your process by automating documentation and creating a centralized repository. With these tools, you can reduce manual effort while ensuring that your records are always audit ready.
And it can be reduced a lot. I can give an example here publicly, where I spoke with one of our customers that said that they reduced this effort of managing the compliance framework by 80%. So that's really something. I'm not even certain. Can you do it manually? I mean, you can, but it takes a lot of resources when it comes to managing documentation and all the requirements of this framework.
Yes, I completely agree with you.
And as we can see on the screen, we prepared a little checklist, document checklist for audits, where viewers can see all sorts of document types, their purpose, and an update frequency, something very important. So, for example, I would just mention incident logs, where you need to document vendor-related disruptions and response measures, very important. And you should update it, of course, immediately after each incident. Okay, so we opened a bit a topic on how Cypher upgrade in our product VendorGuard can help. So can we expand on that a little bit to give more info to our viewers and let them know how can we help companies that need third-party risk management?
Yes, so our tool, VendorGuard, helps to cover several areas for ICT third-party risk management. So first, I could say that it coordinates directly with your third parties to complete DORA required questionnaires to conduct the due diligence, and gathered information delivers technical and legal analysis of third-party security posture, and provides actionable recommendations what needs to be addressed to your third party. For example, if third party does not have a comprehensive backup strategy, with that finding, you can include that into contract, that it must be done in some specific time frame. And it basically also provides quarterly updates to the vendor's registry and maintains records of significant third-party security changes, ensuring, as we spoke, that you are always audit ready. Also, other part is contracts. So VendorGuard provides you with addendum templates, universal addendum templates, ensuring those DORA required clauses are incorporated in your agreements. So basically, you receive addendums that can work as a supplement to your agreements that focuses on those DORA parts. Also, vital part is monitoring and oversight. So VendorGuard automates vendor performance monitoring and risk assessments, and generates risk-based tasks for third parties to ensure ongoing DORA compliance. And as we spoke, It's a general centralized dashboard for real-time oversight of your third-party risks and relationships, and it gives you a peace of mind, ensuring that this operation is done seamlessly, and it's always audit ready. And the other part is exit strategies. For your critical third parties, you need to have an exit strategy. For example, with core banking provider, you need to have a plan B, where to shift if something goes off. So we provide exit strategies tailored to critical vendors, ensuring business continuity. And we provide some input with our help to tailor them according our customer needs. And the other part is register of information. So we handle the process of compiling and maintaining your third-party register, including 15 mandatory templates required under DORA. Also, Vendor Guard conducts regular updates to ensure data accuracy and prepares annual reports for regulatory submission. And it streamlines the collaboration with third parties to capture and document all required details, ensuring a fully compliant register. And last but not least, trainings. Vendor Guard automates vendor cybersecurity training, ensuring they meet DORA requirements. Also track vendors' progress and provides a proof of compliance through detailed reports ready for submission to regulators. And training content is updated regularly to align with evolving DORA and cybersecurity standards.
And to kind of wrap up this webinar, it's always good to give some sort of a call to action. So what would you advise to companies that need a trusted partner for DORA compliance?
Yeah, so if your organization is navigating DORA's compliance and needs expert guidance, the best next step is to schedule a free consultation with our DORA specialist CISO. And during such session, we will assess your current third-party risk management framework, provide directional guidance on key compliance gaps, and basically offer practical recommendations tailored to your business. From there, we will help you to build a structured path to full compliance, ensuring your third-party risk strategy aligns with DORA's regulatory requirements.
Thank you, Noyus, for sharing your insights. I hope we helped our viewers to get a bit better understanding of some key aspects of third-party risk management. And of course, if any of you need more information or guidance, as Noyus said, feel free to reach out. We supported many companies in navigating DORA and other frameworks, so we'd be happy to help you too. And as always, keep security top of mind, stay compliant, stay resilient. Thank you, Noyus, for your insights.
Thank you
to our viewers for joining us, and have a great day.